I swear. Uh, that's why it's not loaded up yet. Okay, there we go. I gotta do a better job. Or this is something we gotta work on during the off season.
What's that?
The live stream,
Yeah.
of course. Mm-hmm.
Man, people are going to need Tyler Wright to keep finishing 15th or worse if we want to catch him.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a
Danny.
big.
Oh, I thought, what's his name, beat Danny for the fastest lap, but I guess he didn't.
Hmm.
I thought Ty Gibbs had the fastest lap, but I was wrong.
It's all good. All right. Give me a second. Serious. One more. It's all good. There we go. No echo. 3, 2, 1.
Powered by Riverside.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Broken Wolverine Podcast. As I'm your host, Matt Cott, and alongside of me this week, post Martinsville, Jake Bell. It's my co-host. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How are you? Fun weekend.
Oh man, no more heartbreak for me. No more heartbreak. You know, I had heartbreak at Daytona, had heartbreak at Las Vegas. I did not have heartbreak this week. I'll tell you that. Woo, man, we are going to be talking about that race down in Martinsville, man. Really excited for what I witnessed. Obviously live. Don't get me wrong, big Hamlin guy, but there's just something about Chase Elliott victory that, you know, he's got 22 career victories, and I really do not feel like I talk enough about Chase Elliott victories in my life as a fan, right? Just like, I know there's going to be a lot of gushing and guru tonight on this episode, but when your driver wins, man, take advantage and be happy with it all the way because, like I said, 22 career wins for Chase Elliott, but I really honestly feel like they come so far and few between at this point.
Yeah, no, I think it was that was a great day, and to be completely honest with you, I got to give props to the crew chief.
You know, and we're going to be talking about him a lot in this episode because, quite frankly, I know AG really kind of gets a lot of heat.
Yes.
I know AG gets a lot of heat on, you know, as a crew chief, and it is frustrating. But at times, like last week at Darlington, we saw absolute total mistake. This week, totally different circumstance, and it was absolutely incredible in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
Jake,
yeah,
give me a second. Okay, sorry, John. Sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to cut you off. John was checking on the blend end chat line. He goes, "No sound. Got it now. Never mind. All good." John, thank you for tuning in. I hope you can hear us. Like I said, I was like, "Oh shoot, let me just double check that we're safe on our end." But I'm happy to see that we are. But continue what you're saying, Jake.
No, I mean, after the bonehead move, I think that he made last week, I think that this was. I mean, it wasn't also. This also was a ballsy move, but it worked out.
Ballsy to say the least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole entire time.
I didn't think it was going to work out. I think I was like, "This is here's another one of his strategies. It just is not going to work."
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that was crazy about the race, right? I mean, obviously the race winner, and we'll be talking about him a little bit later, but like when you're stuck in that like purgatory territory of like, you know, 7th through 13th, it's a good day, right? It's definitely a good day. Is it race winning speed? No, it's not. So you got to pull all strategy out and try something completely, totally different. That's what they did. Now, granted, the caution broke their way. Their way. Now, if it didn't, now I would have been interested to see what would have happened if the caution doesn't break their way. because he's probably the only driver outside maybe SVG that would have had to pit twice in that final stage. I mean, man, the caution break in your way, sometimes it helps. And what a move this week by AG and the guys in the 9 team. So before we get started talking about Martinsville, first of all, if you're listening to us live on YouTube, on Facebook, again, thank you for tuning in tonight here on a Tuesday edition of the episode. We're usually on Wednesdays, but Tuesday this week, due to personal stuff in our lives, bumped us up a day so you get to see our beautiful faces on Tuesday night. If you love what you're hearing, follow us on Facebook at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast, YouTube at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. And if you miss our live streams every single week, no worries whatsoever. We got you covered on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. If you listen to us on one of those subscriptions, please do us a favor and leave us a review. Obviously, you can go on. Hopefully, it's a 5-star. If it's not, no worries. Give us what you feel you like us as a show. We love criticism. We always like to be better. And obviously, we want to be the voice of you for NASCAR. Show announcements this evening. First and foremost, Pocono Raceway. We made the announcement last week. Obviously, we kind of made the announcement last year, Jake. Not last week, but last year. We will be back at the Tricky Triangle for, what is it now, fourth annual Pocono? Year. I think it's our 3rd year. Yeah, it's our 3rd annual Pocono tailgate, Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast tailgate. We will be getting tickets with our fans next week. So if you listen to us, you want to sit with us, you want to go to the race, email us at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast at gmail.com. We'll get you set up with a ticket as well. But come join us at a wonderful tailgate. It's always a great time up there at the Tricky Triangle. I love that weekend. It's our home track, always. Also, the other show announcement this week. We will be down at Richmond in August for the race weekend. August 15th, Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. We will be down there with you live from the track in the tailgate. So a couple opportunities to see us in 2026. We'll be talking about 2027, I guess. We'll be doing some details soon. Stay tuned for that. Also tonight, the last couple weeks, last couple months, excuse me, we're in April now. We've been giving out koozies. So we've been doing our koozie giveaway. During the show, all you have to do is listen to us live, clearly, and then we'll be asking questions throughout the show. To win a koozie, you have to be the first one on the Blown Engine chat line to get the question right. First one to get it right, we'll email you a koozie later this week. So, unfortunately, the USPS and I have a bone to pick, but that's for a different story.
Haven't been on your side recently.
No, they have not. No, sometimes they have. They've been batting about 500, so not good enough.
Not horrible.
Not good enough. Well, like I said, NASCAR, there's 4 sets of tires, or there's 4 tires that you got to put on a car. If you put 3 of the 4 on, guess what? You're getting penalized. Why don't we penalize Why don't we penalize the USPS? Come on, let's go. So like I said, koozie giveaway tonight, and then finally, if you're listening to us live, Blown Engine chat line wide open for you to interact with us during the show. Multiple topics of conversations tonight. We'll be talking about news from the garage. We'll be talking about Martinsville and the Cup Series, some hot topics. If something pisses you off, feel free to tune into the Blown Engine chat line. We'll read your comment on air and hopefully be the voice of reasoning for you this evening. So, man, what a show. What a start already, Jake.
Yeah.
What a start. So, first and foremost, let's get to our fast headliners. Again, these are courtesy of jski.com. Follow them on X, web, and by Facebook. On web, it will be www.jski.com. So first headliner this evening, Joe Gibbs Racing and Lance Crackers. They announced that Lance Crackers will be sponsoring Chase Briscoe at the Bristol race in a couple weeks at the Food City 500. Car looks pretty sick. Blue and orange. I kind of like that. Makes me kind of hungry. Pretty good color scheme, I would say. But like I said, Lance Crackers, they'll be on Chase Briscoe's car. So used to seeing the Bass Pro Shops, not this week at Bristol. Final fast headliner, coming from jski.com this week. WWE's Glenn Jacobs, which is AKA Kane, and NFL quarterback Joshua Dobbs named basically the honorary starters for the Food City 500. So,
oh, Josh Dobbs, what a freaking name I haven't heard in a while.
I'm interested how in the world Josh Dobbs is even linked to the Food City 500.
I don't know, man. Like, I know he's got a crazy story outside of NFL, but still, I haven't heard that name in forever.
Kane makes sense because he
Yeah.
is the mayor of, I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he's the mayor of Knox County or something. So like Kane makes sense, but like Josh Dobbs, I mean, very interesting pool there. I mean, I know he went to the University of Tennessee,
Yeah.
which Knoxville is not that far from Bristol, Tennessee. But at the same time, it's very interesting that they link those two together. So those are kind of the fast headliner sponsorship updates coming from jski.com. Again, follow them on X, Facebook, and by web at www.jski.com. So, all right, let's get into the main headliner this week, Jake. And I want to say this news kind of happened a few weeks ago. And I kind of overlooked it just because of the fact I don't even want to give the guy attention because of the derogatory term and all that type of stuff. It's in move on. You want to stop this derogatory term stuff. Don't give anybody attention.
Mm-hmm.
Breeze right over it. Let them be known that they're a nobody, right? But
Yeah.
unfortunately, this has a ripple effect within the Kaulig Racing truck team now. So according to NASCAR.com, the news this week, Corey LaJoie is going to be driving the number 10 Kaulig Ram for the rest of 2026 in place of Daniel Dye. So for a lot of you guys who either have been living under a rock or don't know what's going on with Daniel Dye a few weeks ago, he got suspended on March 17th by NASCAR and Kaulig Racing for insensitive comments made during a live stream while they were iRacing about IndyCar Series driver David Malukas. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't listen to it, nor do I really care. I saw the headliner come through. I'm like, okay, who gives a shit? Move on. Make him feel as small as possible. Today, it was announced that that NASCAR has reinstated Daniel Dye because he has completed a sensitivity training. And while Dye is permitted to return to competition, LaJoie will be taking over driving duties for the number 10 truck for the duration of the season. In Daniel Dye's statement, he said he is stepping away from Kaulig Racing as he seeks to make his return in the sport. He goes, I'm incredibly thankful for my time in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and for the chance to compete with Kaulig Racing alongside some of the most passionate fans in motorsports. At this time, I'm stepping away from that role. NASCAR has played a meaningful role in my development, and I don't take that opportunity lightly. After a lot of honest self-reflection and guidance from mentors I trust, I've decided the smartest move for me in my career is to realign my focus on my long-term objective of becoming a successful driver at the highest level of stock car racing. Now that I'm reinstated, I'm optimistic about what the future holds and look forward to working hard at my next opportunity. Jake, doesn't sound like and again, this was all according to this article according to NASCAR.com. Jake, I'm going to be honest with you. For a driver, I'm sure he feels bad for what he said and what he did on the live stream. Reading this statement, it seems like that he wants to step away and try to find another opportunity outside college. This doesn't.
Like he's like making himself the victim.
It does not seem like he's actually like trying to self-reflect on, okay, I shouldn't be doing this.
No, it's not sincere at all.
No, exactly. And I don't know if this is the case of an immature kid or not. Of, okay, like, I said something stupid. Everyone hates me now. But like he's reinstated. Okay, no big deal. But now he's stepping away from Kaulig. And in that statement, it basically just says to me, like, I'm stepping away from Kaulig because there's better opportunities for me. I don't know, dude. I mean, listen, I don't think there's any better opportunities for you. You said a derogatory statement about an IndyCar Series driver. And now you're out there going, well, you know what? Now it's time for me to go on and try to find a better opportunity. And I'm not going to lie. And it kind of goes back to Kyle Larson, right? Like Kyle Larson back in 2020 made that very inappropriate comment on iRacing. Ended up leaving Chip Ganassi, went to Hendrick Motorsports. Yes, he elevated an equipment. There's no doubt about it, right? But there was a lot of things that Kyle Larson had to do. Yeah, he had to go through the sensitivity training. But Rick Hendrick basically was like, no, this kid's really talented. Let's give him a second chance. I'm going to sponsor the car and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any owner putting their neck out on the line for Daniel Dye.
No.
I really don't.
No. I mean, and Jeff Gordon went to him too about him. Like, you got to sign this kid. Like, I don't see, like, yes. And look, Larson still deals with it. I mean, I know he has come in to Rick Hendrick because the HendrickMotorsports.com on the car. I don't want it to change, but he had that problem for years. This kid's gonna have problem getting sponsors too. And what team wants to give a guy a seat and then they can't get any money for it?
And the weird thing about Daniel Dye for me is that I watched Daniel Dye a lot in the ARCA series. And when I watched him, because he was in the same class as like Rajay and all them, and Nick Sanchez, I never thought Daniel Dye was better than Rajay Caruth or Nick Sanchez. And I feel like Daniel Dye got a ride and got an opportunity because his dad owns a Dodge dealership in North Carolina. I really think that that's really the case. And for me, it's like reading this statement, it's almost like, oh, I'm going to be stepping away from, again, to me, this reads, I'm stepping away from colleague because I didn't like my ride. I'm going to go try to find another opportunity after self-reflection from the mentors. Who the hell is mentoring you at this point? That is bad advice. You're not good enough. You're not good enough at all. And it's kind of a joke, in my personal opinion, that it's like that he would do this. As you said, not sincere whatsoever on the self-reflection. And to be honest with you, I think colleague massively upgrades with getting Corey LaJoie into that seat. I really do. I mean, I'm not a LaJoie fan. I don't think LaJoie is a great driver by any stretch of the Cup level. But hey, you got a veteran driver now in the Craftsman Truck Series. Hey, you know what? This is a great opportunity for both colleague and Corey LaJoie.
Yeah, Corey LaJoie could help him out. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't go back to the old and try to get a guy from that race for the seat.
I am too. I'm a little surprised that they didn't.
Because there was a kid who raced this weekend in Martinsville who won a ride. He raced 25 car. He came in second place in the race for the seat. He raced this week. I don't know how he did though.
Yeah, he was in modifies, wasn't he?
He was a kid that raced in modifies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, for you coming in second place, you're gonna get a ride at Martinsville in a Craftsman truck." And he raced at 25, but again, I don't know how he did. I mean, I guess I could probably look it up for you and tell you right this minute.
Yeah, but going back to like Daniel Dye though, like I said, this is a immature kid, in my personal opinion, that has pretty much basically been given everything in his personal opinion under the sun. And yes, he got caught on iRacing, and good for Brent Cruz, by the way. Brent Cruz was with him, and when Brent Cruz heard what Daniel Dye was saying, Brent Cruz walked out of the room. Good for Brent Cruz.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about maturity levels of two different drivers, and like Cruz is only 17 years old, and Cruz even knew it's not a good opportunity to be wrapped up in. Daniel Dye's out here going, yeah, I'm going to resign from colleague racing and try to find better opportunities. Dude, you're going to be racing ARCA in like next year, and you're going to be completely forgotten about. And to be honest with you, as a fan base, what we really need to do with Daniel Dye at this point, forget what he said, let him go run an ARCA. Don't even pay attention to him at this point. Don't.
Yeah.
It's horseshit that he thinks that this is an acceptable statement. It really is.
Yeah. No, I don't even care to even give the guy any more props. I mean, not even props. I don't even care to even talk about the guy anymore because that shit doesn't really sit well with me.
And I personally, for me, I don't care if you're a great prospect. I don't care if you're an elite driver and all that type of stuff. And everyone who's going, well, you guys sit there and root for Larson. Okay, first of all, Kyle Larson. I'm never going to justify what he said on iRacing.
No, I won't either, even as a fan.
Ever justify that whatsoever. And it was a dirty moment. But I can tell you this. Kyle Larson, at least on every single statement, came out and legitimately owned up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Larson owned up to what he did. Is it acceptable? Absolutely not. But he owned up. Daniel Dye basically goes, I did the sensitivity training. I am pretty much good to be reinstated. Oh, but by the way, it sounds like to me, I don't like my ride. I'm going to go find something else. Good luck in ARCA. You're done.
Yeah.
So again.
No, you are right. Larson didn't give a shit about racing at that point. He wanted to clear his name. I mean, he did own up.
We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes as human beings. And this is one statement I will say outside of racing. We all make mistakes as human beings. And yes, if you use a derogatory term, yeah, that's unacceptable no matter who you are or what you do. But at the same time, we all make mistakes. Own up to your mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need you to do. And Daniel Dye didn't. And he completely, like I said, reading this statement completely drops the ball on it.
Yeah.
This is an entitled kid that legitimately got everything handed to him and has no repercussions. None.
Oh yeah, with that response, 100%, just shows him.
So again, if you're just tuning in live, like I said, we tried to cover that story for the last couple of weeks because, quite frankly, I didn't even want to give the attention on air because it pissed me off so bad. If you're listening to us live on air, again, Corey LaJoie will be now driving the number 10 Collie Graham truck for the rest of 2026. Daniel Dye is reinstated, but ended up resigning from his number 10 ride, and he ended up coming out with a statement basically saying, I'm going to look for a better ride. So if you're listening to us live, Blown Engine chat line wide open for you. Topic number 1 up on the board. We want to hear from the fans. What are your thoughts on Daniel Dye and what he did? Because you just heard Jake and I basically go on a rampage about what he did. We want to hear from you. Again, Blown Engine chat line wide open for you. Okay, now enough of the nonsense of Daniel Dye. Let's talk about real fun this weekend. Let's talk about the real fun stuff, right? Martinsville, baby, Martinsville.
Talk about a good weekend. I know I know you're sitting on the edge of your seat right now to talk about Martinsville.
Of course I am. Of course I am. Nothing better than seeing that 9 in Victory Lane, baby. But first things first, I want to talk about the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race the other night, or the other day on Saturday. I didn't really catch the full race. I know Little Gator ended up winning. Allgaier ended up winning 2 in a row. I watched a good portion of the first 2 stages. I did see that there was a massive pileup in this race. The one thing I will say that was pretty interesting, and Mike Joy kind of related to it on Sunday, there was a lot of 3 wide. There was a few times that they went 3 wide racing at Martinsville in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And for someone who's been at that track, first of all, if you've never been to Martinsville, it's literally on TV. It looks so much bigger than what it actually really is. And it's a miracle for me to see almost 37 cars on the track and still have space on the track, dude. It's unbelievable at times that when you're like watching it live in person, you're like, how in the world are these guys not wrecking even more? Like, this is insane. And like I said, watching the Xfinity or O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, that race, watching the 3 wide race, and it's like, man, somebody is really going to make the wrong move, and it's going to cause a massive pileup, which it ended up doing. But one thing, Jake, that I wanted to take away from the O'Reilly Auto Parts race, Jesse Love and Rajay Caruth, man. Jesse Love and Rajay Caruth. I know they had a couple incidents on the track. Jesse Love's crew chief, to me, I think made really stupid remarks, basically saying that you better watch out. Now, it looked like with Rajay and Jesse Love, I think they're both 2 very professional drivers. It did not seem like anything ridiculous came out of the conversation that they quote-unquote had. It came more from the crew chief, but I don't know what it is with RCR Racing and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at that track, but their crew chiefs and their directors always have something stupid to say at that track. Remember a couple of years ago when it was Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill, and they were battling each other, and then Austin Hill ended up getting hit by Sheldon Creed, and Andy Petrie basically said, that's your teammate, that's your... Yeah. It's always something with that organization. Yep. Always, dude.
No, man, I saw that freaking video, and that shit really pissed me off. Like, they were having a talk to driver, and the crew chief walks in, and then the driver's like, yo, calm down. Like, we're just talking. Like, you look like an idiot. Like, you're not racing the car. Like, I don't even know why you're over here.
It was really, really stupid. I mean, again, if you weren't paying attention, Danny Stockman, who's the crew chief of Jesse Love, he ended up creating a threat to Rajay Caruth after Martinsville, right? And Stockman, he confronted Caruth on pit road. And again, Caruth initially, he's the one that initiated contact with Jesse Love on the final lap. But Jesse Love wasn't happy. I'm sure Rajay was not happy by any stretch that he ended up doing that. I think Caruth's going to be a driver that we're going to be talking about in the Cup Series in a couple of years. I think this kid just progressively continues getting better. Mm-hmm. He's got some really good mentorship around him that hopefully bumps him up into the Cup Series at a quicker rate. But again, going back to Danny Stockman basically his comments were, you better buckle them fucking belts tight, Stockman said. We're racing for 6th and you fucking shipped us twice. We're racing for 6th. Okay, dude, it's Martinsville. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of freaking real estate for me to go nowhere.
I mean, like I said, I mean, Rajay Cruz, he ended up reacting to the whole situation very calmly, and like I said, I thought Jesse Love did pretty well as in that situation as
Yeah,
well,
I
right?
think
Like,
he just wanted to
both drivers handled it great.
I just think Jesse Love just kind of wanted a like confirmation, like, yo, man, like we're like out here racing for six, like, all right, everything good. Then you got this fucking bonehead coming over here starting to scream in this dude's face. I actually think Raja said, dude, I can't even hear you. I have my helmet on while he was yelling at him.
Yeah.
I think I heard in the video, it was like, I can't even hear you.
I mean, it was a boneheaded move, I think, by a crew chief. And like I said, yeah, are they racing for six? Sure. But like, that's still a top 10. That's still a top, trying to battle for a top 5 position, right? Like, it's not
Points,
something that
man.
you scoff at. Like, that's points. Yeah. And it's like, okay, there's not enough real estate. There's not a lot of real estate on the track. Like I told you,
No.
seeing the track live in person multiple times, for them not to cause havoc as many times as they probably could, it's immaculate, right? And
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna beat and bang and all that type of stuff. Listen, we're gonna talk about a driver in the Cup Series that kind of did the same thing on Sunday, right? But that was pretty much the highlight, I would say, out of the Xfinity or O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. I keep saying Xfinity. Like,
That's gonna be hard not to say.
That name tricks me up so bad.
Yeah,
that name tricks me up so bad.
It's too long,
but way too long. Like I said on an episode a couple weeks ago, it's almost like when Monster Energy was the title sponsor of the Cup Series, right? It was like the initials were Menkes, right? It's like, okay, dude, just a brief. Like, that's why I like the Cup Series, but but like I said, highlights out of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Rajay Cruz, Jesse Love had some issues at the end of the race. Jesse Love's crew chief confronted Rajay Cruz. Little Gator ended up winning 2 straight, and it's interesting. And I heard a lot of other podcasters and a lot of different other NASCAR personnel kind of talk about this question. And I'm going to bring it up to our audience tonight. And it's something I want to relate to. And there are a couple podcasts like Racing Angle, Here for Speed. A lot of them talked about it. Is Justin Allgaier a Hall of Fame NASCAR driver?
I heard that on Dirty Mo Media.
Yeah, the topic of conversation is going around.
And I don't know. I don't know the idiot who was on 23XI had on that said no because you're fucking stupid. But yeah, 100% he's a Hall of Famer.
Freddie Kraft.
This is racing, dude. Like, I get it. The guy's not good at the Cup Series. He wasn't good last year when it was Xfinity with Connor Zilisch. He still won races, but he didn't have a chance. And now look, Justin Allgaier is right back to where he is because Connor Zilisch is up to the Cup Series. But I think also if you look at it, like, I don't think he's doing horrible in the 48 car. But dude, Connor Zilisch ain't doing anything either.
No, he's not. And it's interesting because like, yeah,
dude, Dale got pissed, man. Pissed. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah. I mean, with like Allgaier, right? Like, and yes, like we have drivers that race in different national level series that are in the Hall of Fame, right? Ron Hornaday was a career truck guy. He's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. When I look at Allgaier's stats, and I got him up right now, Justin Allgaier has 31 career wins in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series now, 308 top 10s, and 12 poles, right? He's also won the 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship. He's won the 2008 ARCA REMAX Series Championship. And then he was also the 2018 NASCAR Xfinity Series regular season points champion. Quite kind of an impressive resume for a guy who's 39 years old, right? Like we always talk about like a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Bushwhackers going back down from, the Cup down to the Busch Series and, beating up on the kids, right? Allgaier is like a main staple of that series, right? Like when you go to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, yes, for you and I, we're weirdos. We love watching the prospects. Always love watching prospects. But having a guy that you can go to the track at and, buy legit merchandise because he's not bumping up to the next level. Allgaier's a guy that if you want to go on a Saturday race, that's a guy that you're like, hey, this is who I'm rooting for.
Oh yeah.
Mainstay in that series. Like I said, 31 career wins now in that series. He's got the 2024 Xfinity Series championship under his belt. He's got the points championship under his belt. He's won the ARCA Series championship. Is he a Hall of Famer? I think at the end of the day, I would say, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And
he's
it was
got
interesting.
accolades to prove it too. And I don't know how you just. I mean, dude, that's like saying, dude, say Kyle Busch never left the Truck Series. How many wins did you have in the Truck Series? Like 68. Like say you just say in Chicago, you're gonna say, oh, he's not a Hall of Fame, but the guy would probably have 140 wins by now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, no matter what level of series you're at, and like, yeah, I mean, of course, someone's resume in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series is going to be a lot different than two different drivers. Like between Chase Elliott and Justin Allgaier, who's got the better stats in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series? Justin Allgaier. Allgaier is a mainstay in that series. Elliott's at the Cup. But that doesn't take away what he has done in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. No matter what, all these, I mean, we talk about prospects. They funnel through the system as fast as possible, right? The O'Reilly Auto Parts series is the AAA of the Cup series. And you have a guy who continuously beats out all these top prospects in that series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 31 career wins is not something to scoff at in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. It's not. I mean, now when NASCAR gets to the 100-year anniversary of the, and like what they did with the 75-year anniversary, they had the 75 best drivers of all time. And what is it, 23 years? We're going to be at 100 year, and they're probably going to add more drivers to that list. I expect Allgaier to be like one of NASCAR's best 100 drivers. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, when you look at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, they have drivers that race in different level series that have made it to the end of the Hall of Fame. Allgaier, I think, has a very good chance and opportunity to get into the NASCAR Hall of Fame based off his resume in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Now, if you want to talk about what he did in the Cup, totally different story. Non-factor ever in his life. But in the O'Reilly Auto Parts, mainstay, beats up on all prospects. Mm-hmm. And he's also raced against guys that went down and were, quote-unquote, those bushwhackers, too.
Yes, he has.
So it was a very interesting topic of conversation. And like I said, going into this weekend, a lot of different podcasters, like I said, 30 Mo Media was talking about it, Racing Angle, here for a lot of these guys were talking about it. I wanted to bring it up to our audience tonight. And I basically want to get your opinion of where do you see Justin Allgaier? Is Justin Allgaier a Hall of Famer when his career is over? Blown Engine chat line wide open. 2 topics tonight so far on the board for you to chime in on. We have Daniel Dye. How do you feel about Daniel Dye resigning from Kaulig Racing? And is Justin Allgaier a NASCAR Hall of Famer when his career is over? Want to hear your thoughts and opinions? Blown Engine chat line wide open.
And if you say no, we're not disagreeing with you, but you got to tell us why.
Yeah, I don't want to hear, even if you say yeah. Even if you say yes.
Yeah, give us a good reason on why. For yes.
Give us some substance, right? Give us a substance on why you think he is or isn't. And the same thing with Daniel Dye. Like, I want to hear your opinions. Like, no one is wrong on our show. Nobody is wrong. No. We're not here to, if you're listening to us live, you want to chime in. Don't feel like you have a wrong answer. Nobody is wrong when they both chime in tonight. So, all right. So that was the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, Jake. Let's head to the Cup. And man, oh man, I couldn't wait to gloat about this. Could not wait to gloat about this. Oh man, win number 1 for 2026 for driver of the number 9, Chase Elliott. Oh man, that feels so good to say, dude. So good to say.
I'm not been able to say it
yet. Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, 22 in the beginning of the episode, 22 career wins, and it just seems like since 2022 when he won those 5 races, 2023, 2024, 2025, and then now 2026, right? 2023 was a total nightmare. He got hurt snowboarding, and then it was totally over. Got suspended for Gateway. Didn't win a race, and then he won at Texas in 2024. We thought we had race-winning speed back. No. Championship or Elite 8, final 8 round of appearance, absolutely. But even last year, right? Even 2 wins at Atlanta and Kansas. While I did appreciate the second win at Kansas, wasn't the best car on the track. He ended up having a crazy strategy that ends, and honestly, thank you, Denny Hamlin, twice now. The first one at Kansas for knocking Bubba and you out of the way, for Chase to go right underneath of you to win that race at Kansas. This race felt special. This one felt special.
Oh, yeah.
And how many times on this podcast did I pick Chase Elliott to win at Martinsville, whether it was in the spring or whether it was in the fall?
Oh, yeah.
And since 2020, this was only his second time he's won at Martinsville. But what did I keep saying to you? He's in the front a lot at this race.
Mm-hmm.
He leads a high percentage of the laps. He's always in the front. At some point, the door is going to get knocked down when you put that car in the front.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And this week, I think why this week is so special is because last week they had the biggest blunder of their life at Darlington on regards to pit strategy.
Yeah.
And I was on air crucifying Alan Gustafson. And this week, I want to say it all, folks. I love you, AJ. I never want you to leave as crew chief. Never. Never. This is why we have a crew chief like Alan Gustafson. Because, yes, he's going to have the boneheaded decisions. Everyone goes, oh, well, AG's back at it again. But then, dude, look at the 2 wins that he's had post 2023. Texas and Martinsville. They didn't have race winning speed whatsoever by any stretch. Probably a low top 10 to a top 15 car all day. Both those races, AG pulls a strategy off, ends up catching the caution at the right time. That's why you take the gamble. And guess what? Driver number 9, right in the front when it's all said and done. Well done this week by Alan Gustafson. Now next week at Bristol, he's probably going to piss me off. And then I'll be on air basically complaining about him again.
Nah, I was happy, man. I don't think it was a great week for Chevy, but I think it was a great week for Hendrick. So it's Hendrick's playground. So, you had to expect one of the 3 to win. So, really happy for Chase. I'm in that slump now that you were in because I haven't seen him win for my guy since Kansas of last year. So,
which is remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable that Larson's on this long winless streak at this point.
It's like
right?
30 some now.
Yeah, he won the championship, and it's all 3 of his wins came in the first 12 races last year.
Yeah. So people were like, "How is he the champion?" And I get it. He was just very consistent. But no, dude, Chase Elliott, this is a great win for him. This is a statement.
Well, and I think what's crazy about this win, Jake, and when I look at what Chase Elliott did, like I said, Chase Elliott and Alan Gustafson, they pulled a pit strategy off, and they ended up catching the caution at the right time, which was fantastic. No doubt about it. Well done. But I guess going back to my question, it's where's the Chevrolets been? Where have the Chevrolets been? Where have the Chevrolets been? And all that type of stuff all season. And granted, I'm not sitting there saying Chase Elliott won this week. Chevrolets are back. No. But what I'm thinking in my head is that Chevrolet has not gotten in the clean air as much as other 2 manufacturers have, Toyota and Ford primarily. When we saw Chase Elliott at the end of this race, listen, there's no doubt about it. Denny Hamlin ended up leading 292 laps in this race. He was probably the most dominant car. Byron ended up leading, 6 laps? And even when he led those 6 laps, Hamlin caught him back in the lap traffic and just blew past him.
Yes.
What Chase Elliott did in the final 54 laps of this race should not be understated.
No.
This is why the driver of the number 9 is very talented. He kept that 11 car, and I was texting a couple of our fans over, and we were on the phone with each other, and I kept saying to everybody, as long as Chase keeps the intervals at 0.4 tenths of a second, he's most likely going to be safe and win this race. There was one time I think it got sketch where it got down to maybe 0.35 tenths of a second, maybe. And that's when I got worried because I was having a hard time getting through lap traffic. Hamlin's got the speed. He's going to get around him. And obviously, Hamlin at the end of the race showed that he was going to be aggressive, right? He put Ryan Blaney in the wall. He bumped Chastain out of the way as fast as possible. But at the same time, it was like, and then like the one thing was like you heard Clint Boyer on the radio, like on the booth. Oh, there's that 11. There's that 11. And Kevin Harvick even says, like, I don't know what you're talking about, Clint, because Elliott's keeping pace on top of Hamlin pretty good.
I didn't see Hamlin catching him. I just didn't. I get it. Hamlin was really fast, but you made a solid point. It was the first time we saw like clean air, and he kept the speed the entire time. I mean, it was just it's like you said, man. And Joey Logano said at the end of the race, he goes, "I think we all had the speed. I don't think Elliott was faster than anybody. I mean, the 9 car is faster than anybody, but he just had the best strategy."
Yeah.
He's like, I think he said like I think I had the same speed that he did.
Yep.
He just had a better strategy and won the race. The
Yeah,
Hamlin bullshit, man, pissed me the fuck off. Like, this is why I did, like, the shit that happened at the end of that race is why I hate Denny Hamlin, and I will never like. Because when it happens to him, he cries.
Yeah, I mean,
Joey Logano 101. When Joey Logano puts him in the wall on a short track, it's a fucking problem.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I could say with Hamlin, it's like you saw Hamlin at the end of this race, like, again, dominating day. I mean, he was just completely dominant, right? I mean, he actually, believe it or not, Elliott won the race, ended up earning 55 points. Mm-hmm. Hamlin ended up out earning one more point than he did on Sunday. Hamlin walks away with 56 points. He won stage 1 and stage 2, won the pole, completely bat fast. But at the end of the race, like I said, and I do wonder if there, like that contact with Blaney, right? I mean, now, granted, I think the guys on Fox kind of took it a little out of proportion a little bit. But I do think that kind of affected his car a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Hamlin was on the radio basically saying, I have a loose wheel. So, again, I mean, you can't get, I mean, you have to be strategic on the aggressiveness. And if you're Denny Hamlin, like, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, let's all call it as is. The ending of that race all started on a sequence, not just the caution that Chase Elliott caught. That all sequence all ended up happening because of Ross Chastain. Chastain stayed out. And on the first restart before the Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar incident, on the first restart, Hamlin ended up spinning his wheels on the restart. It ended up putting Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain. They got past Denny Hamlin, which ended up winning basically Chase Elliott the race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say after the Carson Hocevar Bubba Wallace incident, I was a little skeptical with Chase Elliott taking the outside line because I'm like, okay, you got to get down. You're going to have to get down. You're going to have to get down. Chase got around him. He did. So smart strategy. At least I'm not in the car making that choice, because if you give Hamlin the high line, you give him an opportunity to get around Ross Chastain.
Yeah. No, I think that was the perfect move. I think he knew he could get around him.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone did because of how old Chastain's tires were at that point. I mean, God, I mean, late in that run, I mean, think about the freight train he essentially just held up in that race, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like Larson. What was it? It might have been like Larson, Cindric, Josh Berry, and Shane Van Gisbergen. And like he basically just held that whole entire line up. And it's like as soon as they got around Ross Chastain, it was almost like 5 seconds behind. Place.
When I was watching, I'm like, man, I really thought Larson was going to get closer at the end. Like, I thought I was looking for a top 5. And then when he was behind, Ross was just, like you said, acting like a speed bump. We couldn't even get fucking over it. Like, it was, you weren't getting around him.
No, and like I said, I mean, it was Bell, Cindric, Larson basically was held up from Chastain. And like I said, the top 6 ended up getting around Chastain. And then, like I said, it was almost like 5 to 6 second intervals in between like 6th and 7th place. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, they even showed the camera, but like I said, great strategy all around from the 9 team. Going back to Chase Elliott, great strategy all around from the 9 team. A total team effort on Sunday. Like I said, coming off of the Darlington blunder of why he stayed out so late. This week, AG, maybe, hey, listen, maybe they were looking at some data and they said, you know what, let's try it in Martinsville. I would have been interested. I'm interested to see what would have happened, though, if that caution doesn't happen. Because he would have been him and maybe SVG were probably the only 2 that would have had to come down pit road one more time.
Yeah.
I think the rest of I think the rest of the field would have made it. I think those were the only two that would have had to come down. So it's like, okay, we're going from a win on Sunday probably to what? No, I mean, you finished 17, 16, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Well, he's got to call up his best friend Bubba and thank him.
Well, the brake rotor, number one,
Yeah.
which everyone on NASCAR Twitter is talking about how NASCAR rigged that race for the Golden Boy. Knock it the hell off. It was a brake rotor. Knock it off. Just because your driver didn't win doesn't
Any
mean
driver he
NASCAR
races for Hendrick is a golden boy. So it's just a
Golden
narrative
boy,
we're going to
yeah.
always have to live with.
Well, listen, it's between 23XI is the conspiracy theorist, and then Hendrick Motorsports is all the Golden Boys.
Yeah.
Now, my question coming out of this, right? Like I said, Chase Elliott ends up winning this race. Chevrolet's first win of the season. 7 races into the season, it's the longest they've gone without a win. The start of the season. What did you see from the other Chevrolets? Do you think Chevrolet is actually really back?
I don't. I don't. You go from 4 cars, we'll call it the top 11. You don't get to the next one until you hit 16th, and that was Ross Chastain. And I mean, dude, it's just all, dude. Like look at it. Look at all the Chevys, all the way down, man. Starting from 20th down, it's just all Chevys. And don't get me wrong, there's more Chevys than anything else in NASCAR. I mean, in the Cup Series, but Hendrick. Like I think SVG's had a really. I can't give it away. I got to give SVG. SVG's had a really, really good start to the season.
He has. He really has.
But besides that, man, like Ross Chastain's done shit to impress me. Carson Hocevar, fucking hurricane over here. Michael McDowell. I mean, Daniel Suarez has had an all right season. I mean, then Kyle Busch sucks. Austin Dillon's Austin Dillon. Zillage hasn't done nothing. AJ Allmendinger, And then all the rest of you are guys who just float at the rear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, you kind of have to take them guys out of here. But there's guys on here, dude, that have had multiple top 5s and top 10s and wins last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like you said, going back to the Chevrolets, right? Like, I'm looking at the final score sheet courtesy of NASCAR.com, right? And yeah, I mean, even this week at Martinsville, yeah, guess what? The 3 Chevrolets that are in the top 10 were who? Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick. Elliott, Byron, and Larson. We have continuously said this, and even Kevin Harvick has said it. Hendrick Motorsports is, off to an average start. They're not off to a great start. They're off to an average start, not Hendrick level where they're supposed to be. But they're still clicking. They're basically still ticking off like top 5s, top 10s, like pieces of candy. So those 3, it's not like I'm not surprised by this. But when I look at the other Chevrolets in the camp, like I said, Ross Chastain right now has been very underwhelming to start 2026.
Yeah.
Very underwhelming. This is a guy that I expected to take continuously take the next step. He always is good for a win every single year. In the playoff system, he would make it into the playoffs, do pretty well in the playoffs. Really disappointing to start 2026. Now, his teammate SVG, the big question going into the season was what? How is he going to perform on the ovals?
Yep.
And so far, I would say this: much improved. Much improved. Is it race-winning speed? No, but much improved. He ended up finishing 11th in this race on Sunday. But then, like you said, there's a train of Chevrolets from like 17th all the way down to like 34th. All the Spire cars. Hocevar 17th, McDowell was 18th, Suarez was 20th. Kyle Busch is nowhere to be found anymore, which is very, very sad to see. Austin Dillon was 25th. Zillage is a rookie, hasn't done anything. And Zillage is probably off to one of the worst starts I've ever seen from a rookie in NASCAR history. I will say that. And then, of course, you have Stenhouse and Cole Custer and Cody Ware, which are one-off organizations within the Chevy camp. But, again, they're bottom feeders. Is Chevrolet really back? I think the 3 Hendrick cars kind of somewhat figured it out. Do I expect them to win multiple races this season? I mean, that time will tell, of course. Can never bet against those 3, but it's because it's Hendrick Motorsports. Let's call this.
Yep.
So let's talk about the driver who finished second, Jake, in this race, and that is Denny Hamlin. Right, we kind of briefed on him. We're going to continue talking about him. Again, he's been off to an incredible start to start 2026. He finished second in this race. He led 292 laps. Total speed all throughout the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Practice was great. Qualifying, won the pole. Ended up winning stage one, won stage two. Like I said, Elliott won the race, but Hamlin was the highest point earner on Sunday with 56 points. The driver of number 11, though, yes, strategy ended up playing a big deal in his race loss. But at the same time, man, like this, if there's ever been a year where it's Denny Hamlin's championship to lose, I know we continue saying this, and I know Reddick's off to a historical start. Denny Hamlin, this might be the year that he wins the championship.
Well, I mean, I think it's like last year. I seriously think this is the last season.
Mm-hmm. At some point,
it's going to be hard, man, with Reddick, with the gap that Reddick already has, man. I don't see someone catching him for another 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe. And he can't finish in the top five, top 10, or you're not catching him.
Yeah, there's some tracks that he's really good at coming up, like Kansas. He's won at Talladega, Texas at 1.5, where he's won at. But I mean, if there's really anyone, like I was talking to a fan of ours yesterday, and I said, right now, I would say there's 4 drivers in my mind that can win this championship this year. Reddick, Hamlin, Elliott, and I would say the 4th one being Ryan Blaney. The first 2, I would say, that are out of winning the championship, could win the championship, but are out. Ty Gibbs, which is off to a historical start. And I would say probably Kyle Larson, because I just can never count out Kyle Larson. Yeah. But for me, if there's anyone that's competitive enough to beat Tyler Reddick, it's going to be Denny Hamlin.
I also think, I like your 4, but and I'm not saying this just because I'm not a fan of him, but I probably would take your 4th of Ryan Blaney and put Christopher Bell.
Yeah, Bell's off to Bell's up there too. I mean, he's a drive, and like Harvick has kind of said this on Fox, and he has said that he's like, listen, if you're not within the top 6 in points, there's really no shot of winning the championship in this format. I think that if you're within the top 6, and when we look at the NASCAR standings right now, right? Reddick's leading the points, Blaney's in 2nd, Hamlin's in 3rd, Elliott's in 4th, Byron's 5th, Gibbs is in 6th, Bell's in 7th, Keselowski's in 8th, Kyle Larson's in 9th, and Buescher's in 10th. I would say everybody from Larson up has a chance to win the championship, and that includes Brad. Brad's off to a great start. Great start. Maybe this system kind of woke him up. He likes this format a lot. He was not a fan of the playoffs. But at the same time, I think that those 9 right now that are sitting in the points, they probably have a good shot at winning the championship.
Yeah, but and if you go back and you start with Larson and Brad, who are tied technically in points.
Well, there's 6 of them that are tied right now. You got Brad, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, and Bubba Wallace all sitting with 206 points.
So it's but dude, even if you're Brad and Larson, if you want to use those 2, you've got to dude, you got to get. You got to win at least two races this year. With how many points you're down, you got to get some top 5. You got to get some fucking stage wins. Dude, so 147 points back, dude, that's a lot to begin the season.
Yeah, and even when the format even resets itself, right? When the format resets itself, Reddick is still going to be really high up there. I mean, obviously everything could balance itself out, and at the end of the regular season, we could see Reddick in the top 5. I don't know. We don't know.
So yeah, because when the quote unquote playoffs start, you're all at 0. You don't get a boost like you did. So I mean, I guess you just got to finish in the top 16. Doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah. I mean, now in regards to Hamlin, let's go back to Hamlin for a second. Like I said, and this is the reason why, coming away from Martinsville within the first 7 weeks, I think Hamlin's the biggest threat to Reddick at the moment.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I think that, Jake, is because Daytona finished 31st, wreck. Atlanta finished 13th, was involved in a wreck. Coda, not his track, first top 10 he's picked up in his career. But then starting from Phoenix, when everyone says, well, the regular season doesn't start until Phoenix, because that's the first true oval that we race. Since Phoenix, He's finished 5th at Phoenix, 1st at Vegas, 11th at Darlington, and 2nd at Martinsville. He has led a total of 444 laps in those 4 races, because let's call it as is. The first 3 he's led 0.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, where it's like you heard it even this past week where like everyone's like, well, Reg's not good on the short tracks. Still got to learn the short tracks. Isn't that great on short tracks. Hamlin, this is his bread and butter. This is his stretch right now. I mean, starting from Phoenix, I mean, he's got Bristol coming up. He's got Kansas where he's won races there. He's got Talladega, Texas. He's won a race at the next 4 tracks that we come to after Easter. So, and like I said, I mean, that car continuously becomes fast. It's just continuously fast on all these different types of tracks. Sunday was no exception. And like I said, strategy ended up paying off for Chase Elliott. Strategy also lost the race for Denny Hamlin. But in regards, if you're a Hamlin fan, you got to be sitting there going, this is our time to shine coming up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bristol, I mean, you got a handful of guys who are really good at that track, but I'm excited for Bristol, man.
Yeah, I know. Easter, it's like, damn, they're off on Easter. It's like, God, man, I don't want them to be off, but it is what it is. Going back to what they used to do, off on Easter. So,
yeah, no, but I agree with you. I think Hamlin is. If
Elliott's consistent. That's the one thing about Chase.
He is very consistent, so it can get very scary with him. And if he's consistent, like top 15, top 10s, that's a lot of points, man, week after week after week.
Yeah, and the one thing about Chase Elliott, if you're a Chase Elliott fan, the one thing that Chase Elliott does not do much in this next-gen car, he does not DNF.
No.
He does not DNF. I mean, remember I think it was 2024, I think we went the first, I believe. I think it was all the way up until like Nashville or something where he went he almost went the first 16 races without finishing below 15th or outside the top 20. Yeah. And then he went to I think it was Daytona, he didn't DNF. Elliott's first DNF in 2025 wasn't until Richmond in August. So Elliott doesn't DNF a lot. No. And he does not finish outside the top 20 and top 15. Again, that's the motto of consistency, and that's what could help you in this new point system. This is why I think a driver for me that this system kills is Kyle Larson.
Oh, yeah.
Because for how successful Larson is and for how entertaining he is, he does do a lot of records or checkers a lot. And you cannot cost yourself DNFs in this system. You just can't.
That's dirt track racing mentality, man.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is. And that's the one thing listen, that's what makes Kyle Larson so special. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, his driving ability. But this system does not help Kyle Larson out at all because you cannot cost yourself DNFs. You just can't.
No, to be honest with you, and I think it's just a reality. I don't see him until he realizes fuck, I can't race like this every weekend. I don't see him in another championship. I don't see him in another championship for the next 10 years if it stays this fucking point system. Even if he's racing in NASCAR in 10 years. But, I mean, that guy's... I mean, dude, actually, you know what's weird? You watched him this weekend. He was fast, and then he was just, riding around fast. Riding around. I wonder if he's, starting to get to that, I don't need to win every race.
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, he's very fast in Martinsville.
Yeah.
And he kind of just... He fell, came back, fell, came back. I don't know. Maybe he already has that mentality. I don't need to fucking be balls to the wall. Yeah. Maybe Atlanta was okay, maybe I shouldn't be fucking driving like this.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I mean, records or checkers could cost you a championship in this system. It really could, and that's where that's where it kills me with Christopher Bell too, because he does have that mentality as well. Now, one driver I will say, I want to talk about 2 drivers. Jake, like I said, our first topic from Martinsville was Chase Elliott, clearly. Second topic was Denny Hamlin. Obviously, we had those 2 thoughts there. 2 drivers I want to give roses to and credit. First driver, Ty Gibbs.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Gibbs, man. I mean, this is another top 5 that he's picked up. This is now,
4.
Since COTA, this is now his 4th top 5. fifth top 10 in this stretch. Fourth at Coda, fourth at Phoenix, fifth at Vegas, sixth at Darlington, fourth at Martinsville. And in the beginning of the season, in our pre-race show, I said that this is a make or break year for Ty Gibbs. I did. I said if he does not win a race, if I'm Joe Gibbs, I got to figure something else out because he clearly cannot win a race. But the one thing I will say is that he continues putting himself in the top 5. I think a win is coming in the near future for this kid. I really do. I mean, you cannot continue going on this top 5 stretch the way he has. Again, he's kicking at the door. The door might be coming down very soon for him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He is really impressed me this year, for sure. I mean, he's just always up there. And I mean, for this point system, like we were just talking about, this is what you got to do. If he's going to finish races like this, you don't got to win.
I still think you got to win.
I want to see him win, but
to win the championship, I think you're going to need to win a race.
Oh yeah, to win at the championship. I mean, I don't have him circled on my bingo card to win a championship this year, but
yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair.
I think he finishes in the top 7.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about Gibbs, too, like I said, I mean, he's off to – I mean, the first 2 weeks were an absolute train wreck. Not going to lie, my heart was a little warm because of an early preseason prediction. But, man, he turned it around lately. He has completely turned it around. And maybe him and Chris Gabehart needed to get into a fight. Who knows? Maybe the lawsuits needed to happen for him to come around. Because I cannot continue – I just can't overlook what Ty Gibbs is doing. I really can't.
No.
Again, this car is a top 5 car almost every single week at this point. The one thing that I think that kills Ty Gibbs is that as a young driver, I think what he needs to do is, again, racing in the top 5, he needs to preserve his equipment a little bit better. And you heard it at Martinsville, right? Clint Boyer even called it out. He goes, yeah, Ty Gibbs just burned his tires up. And that's going to happen because he races so aggressive to try to get into the lead.
Mm-hmm.
But if he could just learn to back it off when he can and manage the race within the race, he will be able to put that car into victory lane very quickly. Oh, he's got to preserve his tires a little bit better. But again, this is all a learning curve for him. I mean, this is the best start. I mean, this start that he's on in 2026 is absolutely immaculate, and it's really a hot start.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, last year, I'm looking at his stats. Last year in 2025, he didn't pick up his first top 10 until Darlington race number 8. He didn't pick up his first top 5 until race number 9 at Bristol last year. Here's where the kicker begins. He didn't pick up his second top 10 or top 5 until race number 15 at Michigan. So he's already blown past a lot of the stats that he did last year.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, credit to where credit's due. That 54, like I said, maybe they needed to get into a fight, Chris Gabehart and him. Maybe they just needed to get into a lawsuit because something within that car, something within that brain ended up waking up. And, dude, he's becoming the driver I think we've all expected at this point.
Definitely put on a great campaign this year, for sure.
Right now, his average finish is 11.8. He's got 1 DNF at Atlanta, clearly. But, yeah, I expect those numbers to start picking up really fast. And eventually, I mean, we go to Bristol. I mean, he has been very good at Bristol the last couple of years. Now, again, if he could just salvage his equipment and save himself, I think Bristol might be the first win number 1 for him. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's non-doable. I think it's going to be a tough day for him with other guys that are really good, but I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah. Second driver I want to talk about this evening is Austin Cindric. Cindric, again, notoriously known for his restrictor plate racing. He's done a fantastic job winning races on restrictor plates. Won Talladega last year. Won at Daytona, the Daytona 500 in 2022. Did not start off the hottest. Right. Now, a lot of things he had, to me, race winning speed, top 5 speed. But unfortunate events have always happened to him to start the season. Right. Look, Atlanta, Phoenix, incidents and wrecks. Coda, I expect him much better on road courses because that was his background coming up through the system. Finished 32nd at Coda. But the last 2 weeks, right? Cindric finished 5th at Darlington, finished 8th at Martinsville. So something's going on with that 2 team where I'm like, they're starting to click as well. And in the early parts of the season, I said Austin Cindric was going to struggle in the system. And right now, he sits, 18th in the points at the moment. So he's outside the chase at the moment. But the last couple of weeks, he has picked up massive ground to put himself back into a chase playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how he comes out of this Easter break, right? There's nothing worse for a driver that is hot at the moment to have an off week.
Yeah.
And Cindric, 5th at Darlington, 8th at Martinsville. Bristol, I'm intrigued to see what he does at Bristol. But the driver of the number 2 right now, like I said, I mean, this kind of all stemmed, in my personal opinion, back at Phoenix, where I thought he had really good speed at Phoenix, but unfortunately that whole incident with Logano and everything ended up regulating him down to a DNF and a 34th place finish. But, I mean, we could be looking at a guy, who could be heating up right now, Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I mean, I think well, at Darlington was RFK. Had a great day. I guess I can give props to Penske on Sunday. I mean, all 3 cars raced pretty well. I mean, Joey Logano was absolutely horrendous in Darlington.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Finish your statement.
No, I said I know last week we gave Darlington RFK. Phenomenal race by all 3 cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can give it to Penske for Martinsville.
Yeah.
Even though Penske didn't get the win, I mean, dude, Denny Hamlin was absolutely atrocious in Darlington. Horrible. Like, I don't think I've seen that guy race that bad ever.
Yeah. No, I agree. At Darlington, specifically at Darlington, he's usually really good. Mm-hmm.
And he comes back and finishes 3rd.
Oh, you're talking about Logano. I'm sorry, Logano.
Yeah, Logano. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, you're good.
I think all of Penske had a pretty good weekend.
Well, that's where, like I said, I mean, going back to your point with Penske, right? You had Joey Logano finish 3rd. You had Ryan Blaney who finished 6th, and Austin Cindric who finished 8th. All 3 of those guys qualified pretty well. Yeah. Blaney was the worst, who qualified 12th, but we already know the Ryan Blaney story at Martinsville. He qualifies bad, flies through right through the field, gets into the lead pack.
Yep.
Cindric qualifying 6th was a massive surprise because it's like, okay, all right, what we saw at Darlington wasn't a fluke because he had a great qualifying effort, great race effort as well. And then Logano, like I said last week, absolutely atrocious. That was probably the worst race I've ever seen Joey Logano run since he was at Gibbs. But again, qualified 9th. Had a terrible start. He was one of the first qualifiers. So it's like for him to qualify 9th was immaculate. He ended up finishing this race in 3rd. And like I said, I mean, as you said earlier in the show, Logano basically said, I don't think Chase Elliott had anything special. I think we had the same type of speed as Chase Elliott, just different strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy ended up winning this race.
Yep.
But I agree. Yeah, I think Penske this week ends up getting the roses. As like last week we were talking about how high we were about RFK Racing. This week we go with Team Penske.
Yeah, I mean it's hard because Hendrick. I mean, obviously the 48 right now is like the outsider. Don't really talk about him, but Hendrick didn't have a bad day either. I mean 9th, 5th, and 1st. So, but yeah, I'll give it to Penske this week. I think we're going to be giving it to Hendrick maybe next weekend. So I'll give it to Penske this week.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jake, let's talk about our biggest winner, biggest loser this week from Martinsville.
Well, I'm going to give it to the guy who won the race. Chase Elliott's my biggest winner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a much-needed win for him and Hendrick. My biggest loser this week. I'm going to go with Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez, interesting pick.
Just because of the start that he's had. I know he's haven't really raced real good at Martinsville, but but I was just maybe not him. Maybe I would say freaking your boy Ross Chastain, just from him being up front, and that strategy was just I don't understand it, and I would say both of them. And then Ross Chastain just freaking just standing in the way like a fucking train doesn't move.
Definitely.
It was just an off for me for him. And then Daniel Suarez. I mean, I guess I say Daniel Suarez because it's the season that he has started with. Just the way he finished, I was just shocked. I guess.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, Chastain definitely pulled a Hail Mary move, and definitely, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained, kind of. I
Mm-hmm.
think on the green flag stops, I think he was technically 16th. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was 16th before the green flag stops. He ended up finishing his race in 16th. So yeah, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Totally understand. Biggest winner for me, Jake, this week. You went with Chase Elliott. I'm actually gonna go with Ty Gibbs. We just talked about how great Ty Gibbs has been off
Mm-hmm.
to on a hot start of the season. Picks up another top five, like we talked about. Ty Gibbs, massively impressive to me. That car has a ton of speed, and like I said with Chase Elliott, how many times did I pick him in Martinsville until that door, you put the car in the top five, you lead a bunch of laps, that door's going to get knocked down eventually. And this is where I feel like Ty Gibbs is at in his career. Keep putting that car in the top fives. Eventually, a strategy, maybe a call, perfect call, all that type of stuff. You get the clean air. That car is going to find victory lane very soon, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's my biggest winner this week. Honorable mention, I would say, is probably Shane Van Gisbergen. And Josh Berry had a really nice day, finished in the top 10. Berry's a really good short track driver.
Yeah.
SVG, like I said earlier in the episode, biggest question coming into 2026, is he going to be better on ovals? And I would say much improved. Much improved. An 11th place finish. He had a weird tire strategy, but again, finished in 11th. He was actually a top 10 car all day. He really was. And yeah, he finished 11th, but he kind of had a pit strategy that may have cost him at the end. But I will say this with Shane Van Gisbergen, even though he finished 11th, guys, he was a top 10 car. It's not like he finished 11th off fluke. He was a top 10 car all day. Biggest loser for me coming out of Martinsville. There's so many typical and usual culprits, right?
Yeah.
Like Kyle
That's
Busch
why it was hard.
Kyle Busch is like a nice culprit, but we kind of ripped Kyle Busch a couple weeks ago out in Vegas. Like I think
he's every week is the biggest disappointment at this point.
The funny thing is, it's like people keep trying to blame it's the equipment, but guys, he's only got 7 wins since 2020. Like,
I mean, he said on the radio this weekend, let me drive the fucking car. Well, you ain't fucking driving it anywhere. So I mean,
yeah, you qualified 34th. You end up finishing 24th, a lap down, or 2 laps down. Excuse me. You're not going anywhere, Kyle. Like, it's so sad to see what his career has become at this point. It really is. Like, again, everyone can blame the equipment, but when you only have 7 7 wins post 2020, we're starting to get in the twilight years of his racing career, and it does suck. But I'm actually not going to go Kyle Busch though. I'm going to go Bubba Wallace. I'm going to go Bubba Wallace here
he just had a shit day all day
as my biggest loser. And I understand that it was a frustrating weekend from the driver of the 23. By the way, sick paint scheme. Awesome paint scheme with the Hardys.
Yeah.
Really fast in qualifying. He actually topped the charts in qualifying or in practice. Didn't qualify well. He qualified 15th. And then his car just was not sticking at all. Right? Wasn't sticking. It eventually put, him and Carson Hocevar 3 wide. Now, in one of the turns, him and he ended up wrecking with Carson Hocevar. He ended up DNF and Hocevar finished this race. There's half the fan base is going to say it was Bubba Wallace who drove right through him. Half the fan base is going to say Bubba Wallace didn't do anything wrong. I watched the in-car camera, and I will say this. I don't necessarily think Bubba Wallace drove through him. I don't. I think what ended up happening is that Bubba Wallace, while he was frustrated, and Harvick kind of called it out, very frustrated day, He was frustrated. His car was just awful in the long run. It totally was. He was slipping and sliding all over the place. Now, maybe he did drive into the corner a little faster than he should have, but that car was loose. He just lost control, man. That's all it came down to. And honestly, ended up wrecking with Carson Hocevar, took himself out of the race. He got a DNF. Back-to-back bad weeks for Bubba Wallace, who at one point was sitting second in the points. Now he drops all the way down to 11th. Now there's also a four-way tie with 206 points between Keselowski, Larson, Buescher, and Bubba. But Bubba Wallace, to me, and even on his post-race interview, like when he got interviewed, he's like, Martinsville's a great track for us. I don't know what happened. It just was what it was, right? It just tough day for the driver of the 23. I'm interested to see what the adjustments are going to be from him coming out of Easter, because talk about a team that really needs to get back into the groove again. It's Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
And they have the equipment and the opportunity to do it. They do.
Mm-hmm.
23XI is really good to start the season off. His teammate has won 4 of the first 7 races. That speed and that information and that formula will be transitioning probably over to the 23 going out of Easter. So, but yeah, Bubba Wallace, unfortunately, biggest loser this week coming out of Martinsville. So, okay. Final topic of conversation I want to talk about tonight is Chase Briscoe. And what a terrible, or what a weird start to 2026 from the driver of the 19, right?
Yeah.
Last year he was in the championship 4. He finished 3rd in the championship race in the playoffs. This year, this is Chase Briscoe's stat line through the first 7. 36th at Daytona, 2nd at Atlanta, 37th at Coda, 37th at Phoenix, 8th at Vegas, 12th at Darlington, 14th at Martinsville. Excuse me. Very roller coaster-esque. Roller coaster-esque when I look at those numbers. Coda, he had a mechanical issue. Phoenix ended up blowing a tire, went right into the wall. But what I'm seeing from Chase Briscoe just seems very off compared to some of those other Gibbs cars.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Bell, Hamlin, Gibbs even at this point. You see those guys ripping top 5s, top 10s left and right. Where I see with Chase Briscoe is that while they do have the speed, while they do have opportunities to put their cars in the top 10 in the 19 team, mechanical issues left and right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, is Briscoe pressing hard enough on these races to try to get his car into the top 10? Are they that far behind? What is going on with the 19?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I wouldn't blame it on the equipment considering the other 3.
Well, that's the other
driver setup. I mean, he kind of took over Ty Gibbs' position from last year. They kind of like flip-flopped.
So the 3 Gibbs guys of Hamlin, Gibbs, and Bell. Hamlin's 3rd, Gibbs is 6th, Bell 7th in the points. Chase Briscoe, I had to scroll all the way down to 21st. I said, he's got 2 DNFs, so he kind of leads. He's tied right now with Cindric, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon, Todd Gilliland, and Connor Zillage for DNFs in the season. So there's a lot of drivers with 2 DNFs. Briscoe's in that category. But when I look at Briscoe, it's like, man, when is that 19 going to start waking up? When are they going to start coming to the party?
Circle June 14th.
Yeah, probably Pocono. Probably. Talladega. Who knows?
Talladega,
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like I said, I mean, but like what I've seen from Briscoe, though, it's like the other 3, and like I said, we were critiquing a little earlier about Gibbs being in the top 5, not being able to manage tires, manage the equipment as well as Hamlin and Bell. When I look at Briscoe, though, it's like you got 2 DNFs on the season. So what does that tell me? It's either, okay, you either have the speed and you know how to deal with the speed, or what's happening is you're trying to press yourself into the top 5 to catch up with your teammates, and eventually something like that happens. That's how I felt like what happened with him at Phoenix. They had the speed. The problem is I think they were trying to win the race from the first stage and ended up blowing and blew the tires completely off the car.
Yeah.
that's my biggest problem with Briscoe right now. I'm excited to see what changes they're going to make coming out of Easter, because looking at the 4 Joe Gibbs Racing cars and looking at what the 3 others have done compared to him, I need to see much better results. I need to at this point.
No, I agree with you.
So, anyways, Jake, final topic coming out of Martinsville before we let our audience go for this evening. What do we think about the 750 package, and what do we think about short track racing?
Oh, I loved it at Martinsville. I thought it was I personally, just because I'm a car and horsepower type of guy, I saw a difference and I liked it a lot better. I thought the race was 10 times better with the 750 package. These cars were whipping around, man. I think Hamlin really showed you. And it's like Joey Logano said. I mean, I always said it multiple times. I think they all were fast. When you hit that lap traffic, man, it ain't easy to get around them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like Martinsville. I love watching Martinsville. I'm a short track racing guy. I like watching dirt racing. So, I'm excited what the 750 package is doing.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I like adding more horsepower. I think more horsepower is good for the sport. I could think that should continue adding more horsepower. I just think that this car is just so bad on shorter tracks. I really do. And maybe it's just because it was the first true short track of the season, Martinsville. Phoenix is a mile. Darlington's a 1.33. They ran the same package. This package, they ran it this week. I just feel like this car just has such problems on these short tracks. I really do. And where I was a little disappointed, while I did think that the racing was much better, I think it still needs to be improved. And I do think that the leader does run away as fast as possible. And I think the passing in the front of the pack is much more difficult. But the one thing I will say is, like, I think that they need to continue tweaking it. And we also go to Bristol in 2 weeks, so we'll see more of this 750 package. We also have Richmond on the schedule. We have a lot more short tracks coming up where they're going to be running the 750 package. I just need to see more of it. This past weekend, wasn't impressed with it whatsoever. I love tire fall off. I really do. And so far right now for me, and I know I prematurely said something after Phoenix, tire wear was not as great as I thought it was going to be at Darlington and Martinsville. I did think that there was tire fall off finally at Martinsville, but I didn't think it was as crazy as I thought it was going to be. Same thing at Darlington. I thought it was going to be much better. But like I said, I think we need to see more kind of information, more data from the short tracks with the 750 package before I really go all in. But yeah, no, continue adding horsepower though. Just continue adding horsepower. I mean, to be honest with you,
you're going to see your tire wear off in 2 weeks.
Bro, oh, man, I was talking to a fan of ours, and I'm like, if we can just get the tire fall off package from the 2024 Food City 500, where Goodyear completely brought the wrong set of tires, please do that again. Please just do that. That'd be a lot of fun.
But I don't disagree with you though. I mean, I think there's just a lot of kinks that got to get worked out. It's a new thing, and I just think it's going to take. Dude, man, we might not be happy come the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree
with it.
I agree.
We'll see.
I would love for them to add an 800 or 850 package. Just do 850. Go to 850 horsepower. Call it a day. So
do 210 around Talladega and Daytona.
Oh, that'd be incredible. That'd be incredible. Give me that. Give me that. Just give me more horsepower. But no, I just think it's this car in general. I really do. Yeah. And I really do hope now granted we have this car basically until 2031. But I'm hoping after 2031 they basically look at it and go, maybe we should go with back to the Gen 6. Maybe the Gen 6 was the way to go. Maybe the Gen 6 emulate the Gen 6, but all right. Jake, that takes us to the checker flag tonight. We have no picks this week. We have Easter. So we're going to pick the Easter Bunny to win. No, I'm kidding. Rockingham, though. We got Rockingham.
Yeah, I'll be watching that.
Yeah, watch Cletus McFarland.
Yeah, I'm going to try to catch it, I should say.
Yeah, we got Cletus McFarland this week at Rockingham.
Yeah.
But so anyways, checker flag on tonight's episode. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight live on a Tuesday edition of the Brooklyn Woodbury podcast. Appreciate everyone chiming in, blowing in the chat line. Quiet this week. Okay. We're on Tuesday night, not Wednesday. All good. Again, if you missed us live on our live stream this week, we'll be posting the episode on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Feel free to listen to us on those channels. When you're done, feel free to leave us a review. Either 1 to 5 stars, doesn't matter. If you really don't like us, 1 star, whatever, I don't care. But if you like us, give us a 5-star. I don't know. Critique us, right?
Yeah.
Critique us. But if you love what you're hearing, again, follow us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Facebook at the Brooklyn Woodbury Podcast. And also, if you are on TikTok, we are on TikTok at the Brooklyn Woodbury Pod. We'll be posting our clips of the week this week on TikTok. Get involved, get in the conversation. We love to hear the feedback from the fans. So with all that being said, Jake, Rockingham this week for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Truck Series, and Arkham Menard Series. If you're going to the race, enjoy yourself. If you're not, well, enjoy it wherever you're watching. And then, again, no cup race this Sunday due to Easter break. We'll be back on air next week to talk to you as we gear up for the next couple months of NASCAR racing before our next bye week, which is early August, I think.
Yes.
Early August. So, again, appreciate everyone tuning in to us live tonight. Again, thanks for joining us on Tuesday. Jake, wonderful night. And
Yes,
for all of our fans, have a wonderful night. Be safe. We'll chat next week. Stay blessed.